Welcome everybody once again to High Tea with VaYU Shakti. So, Saurabh, is this our fifth session or fourth session?
I think it's fourth.
Fourth one. Okay, yeah. Time goes by so fast, it almost
Yes.
feels like we've done a number of them. But anyways, to all our audience out there, welcome on board. We meet every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this particular platform that we're sharing with you from VaYU Shakti is exclusive for you as audience, as listeners, as people who love yoga, who want to know more about yoga, who would like to live a life with holistic well-being and as a sustainable factor. So this is really what we're all about. As your host, Lalita Ramamurthy, and my co-host with me, Saurabh Srivatsava, we have had some great discussions about, high tea with VaYU Shakti. So we ask you to bring your tea along. It's coffee time, it's tea time with Eastern Standard Time. If you're in a different time zone, bring your water along. Or if you want to watch us at a later time, bring your tea yet. But, this forum basically gives you a lot of information. And if you keep watching us and if you keep following us, you will know that we're going to give you a lot of great insights, not just about yoga, but a lot of simple insights about how you can make effective lifestyle changes. Because at VaYU Shakti, the core that we are all about is putting together yoga, nutrition, and lifestyle coaching, which deals with your mind, body, and soul, all that put together. So once again, welcome on board, Saurabh, my dear friend. It is so lovely to have you. So Saurabh, you know what? With our sessions that we've been doing, I've heard a lot of people telling us, give us some advice about what can we do the first thing we get up in the morning, right? These days we have so many Zoom meets, and then we have these repeated sessions with work or with home life, all of that to balance it. How do you unwind and then rejuvenate yourself for the first thing in the morning? What are some of the things that you could do that we could tell our listeners that can just kind of bring that energy back for you? Some simple things. And I'm sure as the yoga teacher with us and the expert, you've got some great tips to share. So bring it on and share that with us.
All right. So, couple of things, right? One, I would say that I personally feel that one of the great positives that VaYU Shakti brings to the table is that we are not a cult organization, right? We were not started by, we are not centered around a towering personality, and nothing wrong in that. It's just that that's the nature of VaYU Shakti, right? So we are not an organization which was started by a guru, and we just revolve around that. So it has, again, everything in life has its positives and negatives. So I'll talk more about positives. You can take your pick, right? So I think one thing which I really feel great about is that we don't have any qualms in going out and learning from any organization, and we do that quite often. I'm sure you do that as well. I do personally. We go and join multiple educational sessions, discussions, forums, and stuff like that, right? So some of the techniques that I can talk about will come from this organization or that organization. I'm happy to even share, where they are coming from, right? We don't have any issue, utilizing anybody's technique, right? As long as I have tried it and it is my lived experience that it works, right? So one of the things I can talk about is that, which I learned from, one of the gurus, is that, intention works. I think we all know that, right? So one of the things that I do every day when I wake up in the morning is that I sit in my bed. And by the way, these days I've started sleeping on the floor. I have been doing that for a few months now. So when I get up, I don't have the luxury to sit on the bed and drop my legs onto the floor. I have to sit cross-legged, which is perfectly, that's my preferred position anyway. And then I close my eyes, I take a few deep breaths in, I scan my body, and then I know, if there is any portion of my body, any particular, maybe my back, maybe my thighs, maybe my ankles, right? And it needs some attention. I put my attention over there, and then I close my eyes, I take some deep breaths in, I direct my prana to that portion of the body, which again, helps me. And then I, make an intention. I make an intention, which is very generic most of the time. And I just, pray to whichever God, whichever higher authority you want to, you revere. And you say, look, please help me live a purposeful and, dharmic. And, again, dharma is not like a religion, it's the way of life for us, right?
Ethics, very ethical life.
Right?
Yeah.
So live an ethical life. Please help me do that.
Mm.
Please help me live it in a manner that I don't hurt anybody, I don't collect any bad energy, and I only exuberate, good energy, right? So that's a very simple intention. If you have a particular event coming up, you can make an intention for that. And I have seen that my morning routine is more or less that, like, that's my first thing that I do when I get up in the morning.
Awesome. Awesome. So start off with an affirmation for yourself, whatever that affirmation is, reinforcing on that affirmation as you get up from the bed. And for you, you feel more grounded and more connected because you're closer to Mother Earth, or you're closer to nature when you're on the ground. And that's a very phenomenal way of starting the day. I've had a lot of my friends who believe in this, that, they want to walk barefoot many times, on grass, or barefoot many times on the gravel, without causing any injuries to their feet. And yes, I think there is a lot of wonderful things that you actually exchange, very good vibes that you can exchange from Mother Nature with that. So that being said, you sound like a monk to me, because, considering that you are a corporate person who's been a corporate for all your life, and now you've done yoga for so many years since childhood, you sound so much like that to me. But it's
you need to talk to my wife,
It is wonderful to learn from you. It's wonderful. And I always learn something from you. So yes, you are talking about prana. What is prana? What are we doing? How much are we using of this? I hear that we are very shallow breathers, generally most of us, and we are not very significantly using our prana, and that as we use less of our prana, that's probably taking away some years of longevity. So put some light into that for us.
Well, sure. Yeah. So I mean, it's a very deep topic. I don't think we will be able to get too much into it. But what I would say quickly is that thanks for bringing it up. Number one, it is a very, very important technique that I have been practicing for last few months myself. I have been a shallow breather myself, and that shows up in the energy that I have had, especially in my younger days. Right, I feel much more energetic today than I used to feel when I was 22. Right, and part of that is, without the whole digestion system, and how do you look at your life, how much emotions you are soaking in versus reflecting back. Right, ideally you want to reflect all the emotions back. Okay, let me just put it out there very, very quickly. But also it is about how deep you are breathing, right? And I have been practicing it. And again, one of my gurus with whom I'm working these days, he says that you need to keep practicing it to the point where, just like an expert swordsman who doesn't have to think about when they take out their sword, their actions, their reflections, they're all muscle memory, right? You don't really have to think about it, right? So he says it should become like a swordsmanship, right? You should deep breathe, belly breathe, right? Just as your normal breathing. You don't have to think about it. I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it, and it is showing results. I can see the results in my own body. So yeah, that's
interesting.
Very
Interesting.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, for certain. So the amount of prana, or the breathing technique that you involve, really kind of recharges a lot of your cells. It helps you scan your body better, and the potentials, the number of faculties that you have in your body can be much efficiently recognized, as what you summarize here. That's a great point to remember. So listeners, our first take-home message for you is deep breathe, take a deep sigh, relax as much as you can, and breathe through your tummy. I think that children do that when we were little kids. I think when they're sleeping, you see that
Yeah.
belly going up and down. They don't breathe as much from their, their chest. We
Yes.
do that a lot, I think, because we're
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so flustered and so
Yeah.
like caught up with things, right? So let's give a little sampler, my dear friend, to our listeners. To let them know the delight of what you experience, and how
Absolutely.
can the others experience that too. Let's teach them some very simple exercises as to how they can expert their breathing, how they can get to that deep level of breathing. So
Absolutely. So, but before we do that, just very quickly, I apologize. You asked me a question about what prana is, and I don't think I answered that. So let me just take 30 seconds and let me
sure.
just say very, very quickly that when we talk about prana, we have to think about it as the life energy, the energy that sustains life, right? A lot often when we talk about prana, we think about breathing, we think about the air that we are breathing in and breathing out, but that is a physical manifestation of that subtle energy. Okay. Prana is that subtle energy that primarily comes through the breathing, but anything and everything that you consume has prana. When you're eating your food, the food gives you prana, right? And if you eat bad food, then you are not getting a lot of prana from it. And then what happens is that your primary source of prana becomes your breathing, and that puts extra stress on your lungs. Okay. So it's very important that you balance it out, right? We are a living organism. To sustain this living organism, you need to consume live things. Okay. So even the food that you're eating in that sense has to be alive, right? When you eat stale food, when you eat food which is deep fried, when you eat food which is has been in the freezer for last 6 months, it has no life left in it. So you don't get any prana from that food. And then all your prana is coming through your breathing, and that obviously over stresses your lungs. And then in the later life, you can have all of those kind of problems. So I just wanted to, kind of emphasize upon that. I hope that makes sense. But
No, that definitely makes sense, because these days when I talk to my clients as a dietitian, I don't tell them you are what you eat, but I tell them you are what you put into your system. So it means everything that you put into your system, whether it's the breathing that you do, whether the thoughts that you put in, the energies that you take in, the food that you take in, and all of what you put into your system, the medications that you take in. So yes, I totally agree with you, and I am 200% on with you to vouch that the food, especially, which is a significant factor of what we are and what we make of ourselves. As a friend of mine, I just want to share one thing. She was saying, if you are going to consume a McDonald's burger, you're going to be that for about the next 78 to more hours. You're going to be a McDonald's burger. And have you ever seen a McDonald's burger sitting on a shelf that it can never get stale? There's something wrong with it. Not that we're kind of pointing on a specific food here, but I'm just giving an example. There are many foods out there that could be bad and good for you, but that's just a typical example.
I once heard somebody say that even bugs don't want to eat that. Why is it not going back?
That
Because
is scary.
bugs don't want to eat that.
That is scary, but let's kind of divert ourselves. I know we're
Absolutely.
very excited about this, but tell our audience, how can they enhance their prana, and how can they become deep breathers and take that deep sigh and get that little rejuvenation? So yes.
Sure. So I think we took a little bit of a deviation from what we had thought about, and that's perfectly all right. We were planning to show the alternate breathing or Anulom Vilom today, but since we are talking about deep breathing, let me put that aside. We'll probably talk about it next week. We'll come back to that, but let's look at what is the deep breathing all about, right?
Sure.
In the yogic sciences, we talk about there are three main nadis. There are supposed to be about 72,000 nadis. Nadi is the technical term. It essentially means a channel in your body. These are not physical constructs, so you can't look at them under microscope. But once you start meditating and you are more connected to your body, at least some of the major channels of the energy flow you can start experiencing, right? Touch your fingers, you can feel the impulses moving through your body. People who are very, very sensitive, they can literally feel, and that is actually a physical thing, right? When you touch, how do you know that you touched? some electric signal actually has passed through your body and gone to your brain, right? So people who are really sensitive, they can actually feel that, right? So there are these channels which can be, nerves obviously are a physical manifestation, which can be seen under the microscope. But anyway, coming back to the nadis, there are supposed to be 72,000 nadis, and 3 of them are supposed to be the major ones, which are one in the middle of your body, one on the right side of your body, one on the left side of your body, right? So the middle one is supposed to be called Sushumna. The one on the right side is called Pingala, and the one on the left side is called Ira. So they are sort of the balancing organisms, or balancing opportunities, I would say, you, especially when you are doing the breath work, right? So when you are doing the alternate breathing, you are alternating your breath between your right and your left, channel, and that's what we'll talk about next week. But when you are doing the deep breath, it should be your endeavor to think about the middle channel, right?
Okay.
And what you can do is that you can just simply, loosen up your body as much as you can, right? Take a deep breath first, loosen up, especially loosen up your belly. We tend to store a lot of stress in our belly, right? And then you take a deep breath in, and you feel, like you said, when you see the child, their belly goes up a little bit. You can even do that lying down, right? It allows, you can put a little bit of lightweight stuff. You can put a pillow on your tummy. You can put a light blanket on your tummy, and you can feel it going up and coming down, right? And you can practice that for 5-6 minutes, right? So deep breath into your belly, and then when you breathe out, you feel as if that breath is coming up your spine. Okay. And those of you who are at least a little bit aware of yogic sciences, you will know about the chakras. We can talk about that also in one of the subsequent sessions. But you can feel that breath coming up your chakras, up to your nostril, and then coming out like that. So then it becomes a circular breath. Okay. When you take the breath in, it goes down your middle portion. When you breathe out, it comes out of your spine. And the more you will practice, the more mindfully you will practice, the more mindfully you will feel it coming up your spine and going down the front of your body as you breathe in. You will come to a point where anytime you feel your emotions are going up, you are stressed, you just close your eyes, take that deep breath in, watch your breath, and follow your breath, right? Do it for about 4 or 5 minutes. This is an introductory thing that we are talking about here.
Sure.
As we move along, I can give more and more techniques, more and more ways to focus. And then the more you focus, the more deep you breathe, and the more mindfully you breathe. You will see that it takes about 2 minutes, just about 2 minutes, for your heartbeat to go down. If you have a thermometer around, you can check that your body temperature will start coming down, right? Like by half a degree, by 1 degree, it goes down. I mean, we have all experienced it. All of my fellow practitioners, when we do this kind of thing, we actually put a blanket on our body, because what happens is that when the temperature starts going down, you suddenly start feeling cold and your concentration is broken, right? So you can literally experience it, right? It's not just a theoretical thing.
Got you. No, I totally believe you. And I think our audience are certainly going to be hooked on to this also. But we have, just to recap what we spoke about today with VaYU Shakti, with high tea with VaYU Shakti, we spoke about making a very strong affirmation, scanning your body after you get up. If you are able to stay close to nature and put your legs down to the ground, or stay on the floor and start your day, even better. But if you're not comfortable sitting on the floor, just putting the palm of your feet down to the ground is probably a good way to start, and making a strong affirmation for yourself. I'll be healthy, I'll be happy, I'll smile more, I'll breathe better, whatever that affirmation is. And also we spoke about the technique of deep breathing, which is very, very critical. Look at the child in you that used to breathe when it was an infant, and remember to breathe like the child. So deep breaths in and out, where you bring that circular motion. And our friend here, Saurabh, is going to give you a lot more insight in the weeks to come with High Tea with VaYU Shakti. We are integrative wellness solution company, a one-stop shop for you where you can learn more about yoga, you can know more about nutrition, and you can learn a lot about lifestyle coaching too. And we have a banner behind us calling Elder Care, but that's just one of us. We have very many such dynamic programs. So go to our website if you want to. VaYuShakti.yoga is where you would get more information about us. If you would like to have our services provided at your corporate service, if you'd like to have our services provided at your schools, at a hospital setting, at a nursing home or a senior center, sort of any others that I missed out, if you want to share.
So I would actually like to talk, I mean, I know we are a little getting over time, but, we did tease people last time that, hey, there's something new coming up and we'll talk about next. I do want to talk about it. So if you
Please
give me,
go ahead. Yes, we
if you
can
just give me 30 seconds, because I'm so excited about it, right? I think, one of the things about yoga that we have talked about is that it's sort of a cradle to grave, kind of a practice, right? You really don't, have any aspect of life, where you cannot apply yoga, especially when you look at it from the the holistic point of view, which VaYU Shakti, lives by and vouches for, right? So dear viewers, we are starting a program which will actually be conducted in a hospice setting. And I'm just thrilled that, we are getting this opportunity to do that, right? I always feel that we have so much to offer. There's so much that we can do. But obviously you need to get an opportunity to do that. And I'm very thankful for this client who has given us this opportunity. We will reveal more about it and we'll talk more about it as we go through the program. I would hope to, with their consent, even bring back the results of that work and talk about it. But I can just tell you at this point that I'm so very excited to be able to work with in the hospice setting, because that is one area where it is sort of sometimes it is unclear or that's not one of the first things that comes to your mind when you talk about yoga, right? You think about people twisting and turning their bodies and all of that, which requires a lot of energy. So I'm very excited about it, and we'll see how that goes, and we'll bring more information about it. So again, that's just one of the things. But as I said, it's a cradle to grave kind of methodology and intervention. So anything and everything in life, you want to do better, you do yoga, I would say.
That is a great way to kind of get our segue into our next next week's segment and keep our viewers on pins and needles to find out more about us. But I am super excited too for us. For this great venture that we're on to provide the mindfulness sessions for the so-called caregivers, the caregivers of the hospice center. Those people are very important, because if as a caregiver you're not able to take care of your body, take care of your mind, take care of your physical self, and socially be available for them, whether it's lifting them, talking to them, providing to them, then I think it's not a very good task achieved. So we're going to be their helpers there, their guides there. And I'm very excited too. And so viewers, as I said, we are very dynamic. You can go visit our website, which is VaYuShakti.yoga. The power of breathing. Vayu is air and Shakti is energy. So the power of breathing is what we're all about. And we do have multiple services that can be catered to groups or can be catered to individuals. We are your one-stop shop. And here is signing off with today's high tea session, your coach Lalita and my co-host Saurabh Srivatsava. Saurabh, thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. And thanks for those great tips. I hope our viewers practice that deep stomach breathing and also make an affirmation and share it with us what you did this last week, and we'll be happy to hear you out. So stay tuned for every Thursday for High Tea with VaYU Shakti, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.